expected, wouldn't you?
Morning, Bruce.
Good morning.
Morning.
Howdy.
Who did lose Marvin?
Huh? Yeah, he's out today.
Well, you should have told me. I could have called in sick too.
All it takes is a motion.
Can I make one motion that whatever large packets need to be signed, we wait till next Thursday?
There's a lot of tabs here.
I saw that.
You're only seeing that side. There's some on this side too.
I see all this building stuff on here, I kind of imagine. Got quite a bit of personnel forms too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'd just wear my work clothes in and see if you guys asked me to leave, but
I'd be okay with that, because that means the rest of us get to leave.
I referred somebody to you, Rich, the other day, and now I can't remember who I referred.
Okay,
Pardon?
that's fine.
I know what it was. The engineers and the range control contractor, the engineers were looking for a contract with the range control folks. And I figured you had, well, I'm not sure whether
Okay.
you would have a copy of that
Yeah,
contract.
I haven't heard from him, but yeah.
It's also 8:30. I'll call this meeting of the Riley County Commission to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start off with some public comments this morning. I don't see Julie up there, but I see David with the mic off, so maybe he's got an update for us.
Yeah, good morning, commissioners.
Morning.
morning.
Yeah, I'm giving a update for Julie. We have an 8:30 meeting. She jumped onto that.
Sure.
So I don't have all the new numbers for today yet, but just to recap, yesterday in our press release, we put out that we had 123 new positive cases since Monday. We also had 53 more recoveries. So out of that 123, 108 or 88% of those new positives are in that 18 to 24 year age group. So what we expected. We're also very sad to announce that we had another COVID-related death. It was a resident of the Homestead of Manhattan Assisted Living Facility. So our thoughts and our condolences go out to their families in this tough time. So we have meetings today. USD 383 is actually starting at 8:30, and then we have another pre-scheduled meeting with the leadership team at Kansas State University for this afternoon. So continuing to stay in contact and working with all of those groups as we move forward. The other thing I wanted to mention is we're going to announce, I think today, that we have some more free swabbing test sites scheduled for next week. One will be in Manhattan, one will be in Leonardville, and the third will be in Ogden. Manhattan and Leonardville are scheduled for next Wednesday, and Ogden is scheduled for next Thursday. So we'll have all those times and such, and I think that should go out today. Do you have any questions for me?
No?
No.
Okay,
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
you bet. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to the gallery here. Does anybody have any public comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to commissioner comments and start with Commissioner Wells.
Not even lined out yet. I forgot I had a job. Well, it's been very interesting following our local issues, especially watching the comments I got, or listening to the comments I got from the article on Julie in the paper and why they had to take 4 different issues to to write about it. And basically it's because, you know, an editor-in-chief who would advocate for killing Missourians and stuff like that, that kind of lends itself to, I got 25 copies made of this to send out to some other, the other 2 states. I got friends and relatives in the other states that don't appreciate that, so thought I'd send that out there. But watching the national news, I've switched now to the old Western movie on Grit. Much more interesting, and even a few candidates nationally have been campaigning. I thought carrying a good campaign. Now I've started running negative campaigns against their opponents, so I just took them off the voting list too. It's just terrible out there, you know. And even just like Sunday's paper and the candidate for District 2, Fannie Fang, had no idea that we're not in charge of the school district, you know, and they had an outbreak. That's up to the schools. And so anyway, I've just been enjoying myself, doing my own work, and it's a lot more enjoyable. I've only got me to answer to.
Okay, good to go. Okay. Actually, for me, it's been kind of a uncomfortably quieter week for the most part. I guess I haven't been used to this over the last few months, so I kind of feel like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop or something. I don't know. With that said, though, Wednesday afternoon has been kind of customary for me since last March. I did check in on the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs through the White House and listen in on their teleconference, the all of American COVID-19 response. Of course, I do that with local, tribal, and municipal leaders. Call included an update from Dr. Bricks from the White House Coronavirus Task Force Coordinator. They have a lot of concerns and are watching very, very closely the university community, such as ourselves, and the trends, the behaviors, the things that are happening there, and trying to correspond the best they possibly can with that. Also heard from Admiral Brett Giroir. I know I just chopped that name up. He's the Assistant Secretary for the Health within the Health and Human Services Department, and Stephen Sinsky from the Director of Agriculture on some other CARES-related funding and other resources there that they're trying to get taken care of. Also wanted to congratulate Pat Collins for being on WIBW Salute the Hero this week. Usually when I see those, I always like to mention that. It's always good to see our people from Riley County on that and those various type of programs. And other than that, just keeping caught up on emails and some other various correspondence and just kind of working through all that. And that's all I've got.
Well, Pat was certainly deserving of that.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was actually here in Riley County even way before his administrative role. He's actually been a part of the county longer than I've been alive. And that's pretty old. It's pretty old. So on that note, we'll start with some business now.
First item is the contract addendum. Number 1, Bruce McMillan Architects, the amount of $13,600 for courtroom modifications.
Okay. Pretty standard stuff is what it looked like to me, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
I moved to approve addendum number 1 with Bruce McMillan Architects in the amount of $13,600 for the courtroom modifications.
Okay. I'll go ahead and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item, gentlemen's agreement for professional services with Schwab Eaton for Tabor Valley Road Bridge Replacement Project. Amount of $43,000.
No, you're ahead of me. I haven't got there yet. Coming up shortly. I move to approve and sign the agreement with Schwab Eaton for the Tabor Valley Road Bridge Replacement Project number CC 0-27.0. Design services in the amount of $43,000.
I'll go ahead and second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Just a side note, that is the bridge that some of the public were talking about needing to get done, where it's down there on Tabor, north end of Tabor Valley Road.
Something needs to be done.
I just saw it at Marvin's place. Oh, it's not working very well for me here. Sorry, Rich.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We have plenty of time.
I'm used to licking my fingers and I just
I'm
can't
one
do it
of
anymore.
those
Yeah.
as well.
Ugh.
I'm one of those as well.
Maybe you're gonna have to get you that little porcelain bowl with a little sponge in it that you used to use with your postage stamps.
There you go. That's a thought.
Yeah, it'll be a new marketing technique. I'll put it back in cell there.
Nothing else. I'll
Put
confuse
finger
everybody
on the
watching.
bottom.
One of the two.
Mhm.
Well, the beer has been unusually cordial. Especially since I got back from work and there's more.
I was gonna say, it's because you've been feeding them well.
The little one's still not trust me yet, but.
Got you figured out.
A couple days ago, I got back and get my coffee early in the morning there, and the two of them followed me down the driveway to the
You're
shop.
kidding me. They are trained well. Mine stayed away last night when they saw me out practicing my bow. They don't get very close then. Actually, it's funny where I live, I've actually seen them close by watching me while I'm practicing, There's plenty of them around. We've got like a pet owl in our yard. He's been there all summer, yeah.
Does he know he's a pet or she?
It must, because we can come outside in the evenings when he shows up and he'll see us out there and he'll fly over there and kind of sit fairly close by and watch you, It's pretty neat. We've always had a pair of owls that has a nest along our road. But I think they had it really close to our house this year. Pretty docile around us. Next item, gentlemen, is retail dealers 2020 cereal malt beverage license.
Move to sign a retail dealer's 2020 cereal malt beverage license for Ryan Platt, Rich Farms, 1000 South Scenic Drive in Anton, Kansas, 66503 for September 5th, 2020 only.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
All right.
So if he's
Sign
gonna have
there, and then you sign over on this side of this one over here.
Okay.
I see Iowa is leading the world in number.
Yeah. Guess you heard KU is going at it with no fans or layman's terms, basically just the usual.
Well, I was gonna say, that's, why do they always get to do things as they want, you know, like normal, and the rest of us have to change?
I'll wait till November of basketball season, just wait.
Now you sound like a true KU fan. That's what they always say when we talk about football. Wait till basketball. Yeah, I bet they don't have that same protocol for basketball. Okay, next gentleman, Raleigh County Personnel Action Forms, Logan Kelly, roadside mower operator 1, noxious weed department separation of service. Daniel Smith, Public Works Operator 2, Public Works Department, separation of county service. Casey Crothers, EMS ambulance, part-time EMS ambulance department, separation of service. Connor Reyes for transfer from Public Works to noxious weed as roadside mower operator 1. And see, that's why they're on opposite sides of the rooms, gentlemen.
I don't think I should be in the middle. I
There's
apologize.
a reason why they're sitting on either side of the room. Meredith Thomas, new hire, temporary election worker, election department. Connor Reyes, Public Works Operator 2 in the Public Works Department, separation of service. Kyle Lowe, EMS ambulance part-time, EMS ambulance department, separation of service. Shane Murphy, new hire, temp election worker.
Running off all your people in Public Works, I see.
We're sending the bad ones over to Mike.
Gary's still there, right?
We're still trying. He's listening.
I was hoping so. That actually probably got him to smile. And gentlemen, while we're signing those, Good Morning Manhattan's coming up Thursday, September 17th at 7:30. I'm assuming the board wants to participate like we did last time in here.
Mhm.
Did you want me to pick up breakfast before we get here again?
Sounds good.
Okay, Clancy, you included?
I was gonna say no, if they mentioned breakfast, yeah, I'll be here.
No. Okay, I'll get mine to go. Thanks for the warning.
You're welcome.
Hard to believe it's already September, huh?
Yeah.
I tell you, just the weeks go flying by.
Feels like March was just 16 years ago. Right.
You?
Take it I didn't miss anything in that first stack, huh?
No, nothing
All
at
right, we're
all.
off to a good start.
Ready for the minutes from the board is.
Okay. All right, we'll start off with page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Four pages for Monday? Wow.
I have 5.
Was there 5?
Meeting.
It's just, yeah. Okay.
Move through the minutes as written.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now the tentative agenda's looked, gentlemen.
Good.
Any items for next week's press conference?
No.
Mr. Holman and Lori Harrison on the lease agreement at 9. Come on, Lori.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Doing good, how about y'all?
Good.
Just to mention, Connor, the new hire, what his background is, some state. Well, staff update is essentially a monthly meeting for all department heads to, it's a little misleading, it's a staff update, but what it really is what have you, the staff, department.
Well, I think it's official. We can probably put a fork in the Royals for the rest of the year. Fought all the way back to get in that game 2 nights ago and then give up a 3-run homer in the 11th inning.
I'm curious to see what next week brings after Labor Day.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Well, it looks like we're gonna get our fall weather starting next week.
I'm ready.
Oh,
Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be tough.
Yeah,
next Wednesday and Thursday is got 45, 46 in the morning. That's gonna.
Bill Chris.
A long yawn.
Nice. Thanks, Elizabeth.
If you saw Hall of Fame pitcher Tom Seaver passed away yesterday.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He wasn't really that old. He was only 75.
He's been struggling with dementia for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a bad deal.
Watched Wells last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think they're just a few pieces away, but had a pretty good reliever for a prospect. I don't know. Just can't figure it out.
I'm concerned right now with what kind of team K-State's gonna have to put on the field for the first football game.
I don't think they're the only ones struggling with that, though.
10 guys impacted. It doesn't hurt the receivers and the offensive line, which is not good.
Not if you're Skylar Thompson, that's for sure.
Exactly. Might be a rough day for Skyler.
Unfortunately, it's somewhat far out. Most of them might be recovered by then if they can keep it under
Well, I
wraps.
think they said the ones that tested positive won't be able to play.
Oh, won't be able to play
The
on
ones that are quarantined will.
it? Right.
I thought about that this morning on, and I forgot to do that.
I thought I just tore one off the other day.
And we're gonna blink and it'll be Christmas. Oh, you still charge.
Yeah, on Sunday, the 27th, along with Hartford Swine is having the Blacktop Highway car show with award to first 50. First 150, so I thought I'd fire red up. Yeah, I put that bit away on Sunday morning. Be out for breakfast, I'll be there earlier.
Heck, just go to that place there in Salina, I forget, Hayers. Bears, that's good. Good breakfast there.
Put the oven cabinet in yesterday on the house wall, so I can finish up the rest of the load. But now, they want me to build the old antique pine, big huge hutch. Looks a little rough, so I got going now, I distress sticker at some point. But anyway, trying to figure out how to move this behemoth, floor to ceiling, wall oven, and dig around my stuff. At the top end where there's a vacant space, I just drilled 2 half-inch holes, put a 1/2-inch axle and 2 10-inch wheels on. The other end, I put a pair of handles on the bottom underneath. Picked up the skid loader, drove up to the house, pulled it across the lawn into the patio door. Got the thing in, I got about this much clearance to the ceiling. It's done.
Yeah, that works.
Well, I heard there's a historical low year for tornadoes in the state of Kansas. Like 27 or something for the year.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll take it though.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Catches the younger guy.
At least we're not having 2 hurricanes. Oh,
I
wait.
know, or wildfires or some of the other, natural disasters, yeah. Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Custom Woods did in there on our house when we built our house. We had
It's like they were
8
getting
foot height
close to
in one of the bathrooms.
flooding.
Well, they built it that size.
Go around that,
had to take it back and build a
Texas.
two-piecer.
Yeah. There's another tropical storm out there too, but they're thinking that this jet stream is going to move down and push it east away from there. So it's the time of the year we get busy at work. Every time there's a hurricane or one of those type of tropical storm events, we're replacing infrastructure.
Yep.
All right, Clancy, you're on.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Clancy Holman, Riley County Counselor. I'm here this morning with Lori Harrison, Emergency Management Coordinator, to present for your review and signature a tower lease. It's actually one of the radio towers that the county has put in place for this ongoing upgrade of the county's emergency radio communication system. It's to lease space on that tower, this time to Evergy. Pat has been pretty active at the request of the commission in going out, trying to find customers, if you will, that need space on one of the towers. And the idea, of course, is a very practical matter, is to, over time, reduce somewhat the overall expense of this multi-million-dollar upgrade of the system, which was necessary. But to the extent that can be reduced, that's a good thing. This lease agreement is intended to do that and provides for various terms that you're probably going to see this as a kind of template for future lease agreements. You'll become familiar over time with these, because we're probably going to build them the same way. And we'll learn as we go along if we need to tweak things. Be glad to try and answer any questions you've got. Anything on the technical side of this, I'm going to be stepping away from the podium, which I'm sure she's excited about. Pat is unavailable, or he would be presenting this, but we needed to move forward and get this done.
I agree.
Well, I move that the board authorize signature of the lease as presented.
I'm going to go and second that motion. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
All right.
Lori was really hoping for some technical questions.
I'm kind of disappointed, but I'm
Well, I mean,
relieved.
actually,
Let me ask you.
No.
Pat's explained it several times, so it wasn't.
Yeah, me neither, Ron.
Thanks for coming, Lori. Appreciate
All
it.
right, thank you, gentlemen.
Have a good weekend.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, he said electrically.
It's getting sloppy.
Yeah, mine deteriorates fast.
Yeah,
And mine doesn't that great.
I saw that big stack there and thought, oh boy, there was only three. So
Mine
that's all
doesn't that
good.
great to start out with, so that's not good.
You gotta do something that works for you guys.
Okay.
Well, I think I am gonna do this weekend. I think I'm gonna head over to St. George and try that barbecue place out, Moe's or whatever it is.
I'm gonna tell you too, had you eaten at that, Bayard's in Salina, that breakfast place Ron and I talked about?
I have, but it's been like,
I was gonna
it's
say,
been a while.
You head out to Wilson Lake, it'd be worth a stop for a breakfast, cause
Yeah.
just the amount of food they give you.
It's probably been 15 years or so. I think we were over there, Salina, working one day and got there early and yeah.
Man, the amount of
And
food
they
they
ordered
give
a
you is-
side order of biscuits and gravy.
You
It
didn't
was,
need to do.
no, it was
Yeah.
like a full order. Yeah, I do remember that. It's downtown there, isn't it?
No.
It's on Broadway.
Broadway, down by where the first McDonald's was.
Oh, yeah,
there in
yeah, yeah,
Salina.
yeah.
That's the old Sambo's restaurant.
Yeah.
Is what they-
We used to have Sambo's here too.
Yeah, you gotta go back a ways to remember all that stuff there in Salina.
Yeah. You know, most of their stuff has kind of moved out towards the interstate there from.
Boy, I tell you, they give you a heap of food.
In a Calico Inn up there in Riley, you ordered a plate full of fries or breaded mushrooms or whatnot, and it was a mountain.
Yeah, the old Calico.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. I might have to see if I can talk the wife into running over there and get some barbecue, just
Yeah.
something different, you know?
Yeah, I'm hearing, everybody I've talked to says it's good. It's really good. So I figure at some point in time, everybody can't be wrong.
Have you tried that guilty biscuit?
No, that's on my list and I may do that. I may actually, I'm gonna go to work this afternoon and help finish up a large project, and on my way home, I think I'm gonna order something from there and take it home.
It's good.
Yeah.
Have different things, you know, not the usual stuff. I like trying different.
I made a
things.
comment on their Facebook page. I said, you guys gonna start throwing biscuits like that one place down in Sykeston?
Can't anymore.
I know.
That's just because it's such a different world watching on WIW News this morning. Now, it was some school, I think it was in Topeka, but they're talking about, you know, all they're doing in the cafeteria to make it safe for kids and show the tables. And either the superintendent or principal saying, for safety for kids and staff, and it says, you know, we welcome the kids with open arms. I was like, well, you can't welcome them with open arms anymore. Like you're gonna give them a big old hug and no touching anymore. It's a challenge, you know. My wife's a teacher.
I think it's even affected how you, when I watch movies now, and I see people real close together, it kind of takes you back. Or people are shaking hands or doing stuff like that. So just some film you're watching, it's a little jarring. Just because you're not used
Hopefully
to seeing it.
they don't start making movies with people wearing masks.
Yeah.
I still run across the old handshakers.
Oh, yeah, there was a whole guy in the lobby of the treasurer's office. It was Dwayne, can't remember his last name. Big in real estate here in town. Older guy, you know, and saw him and he was wearing a mask and said, hey, Rich, and he come over and talked to me and he stuck his hand out. I said, as long as you're comfortable, I am too. And, you know, shook his hands. Those old guys, you know, they still want to shake your hand. And like you say, if you don't, then you insult them, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's also told that it actually has to go through the nose or the mouth or someplace. So why would a handshake, particularly if you wash your hands or sanitize right afterwards, would be a big deal.
Or soap and water.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why they stress the hand washing, because then you do touch your face and it becomes an issue. But as long as a handshake, when it goes to something like this or hand washing, it really shouldn't be a problem. And even when they delivered furniture yesterday, it was, both of them had masks on and
Yep.
asked if I had my own pen to fill out the paperwork on too. I
Gotcha.
don't know, it's because they lost their pen or I didn't ask, but
Yeah.
got to thinking about that afterwards. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
delivery type driver, you always have a pen on you. Maybe and then I got to think, maybe that's because,
I'll bet so.
yeah, that's what I was thinking
Company
too.
policy. careful driving through St. George though. They will get you.
Yeah.
They are not bashful about it. It starts at like 20 miles an hour, a mile from town. You know, it's like, oh,
Used to be cut that bad over at Grandview Plaza too.
I got a friend that lives on the other side, and it's like, I just dread going over, seeing him every once in a while. I just hate driving through that. They're always sitting right over there in that corner, right by I think it's a school building over there or something.
My wife got a ticket over there for running a stop sign. And I had the in-car camera subpoenaed for the officer's car. We went to court over it. What we discovered is he based his probable cause when we're running the stoplight. He was parked behind a building, and he based it on the reflection of the headlights. He never even seen it.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, suffice it to say, we won the court case and that particular officer got work.
Wow.
As a general rule, you need to be able to see the violation before you write. So I think that's probably.
A moving violation, you need to see. I don't think you can base it off of probable cause.
Well, you can't- he just based it off the reflection of her headlights. So he just felt that the reflection of headlights never stopped, and he knew there was a stop sign there, but he was parked completely behind the building. And you could see by the in-car camera, he never had a visual of her. So obviously I took issue with that. Went to court over it, justice prevailed. But yeah,
What's the rule on stoplights?
meaning
When's it determined when a red light has been ran?
once it turns red,
Once it turns red, you can't enter, but if it turns red and you're in it,
then you're fine.
then you're
If
fine.
you entered during yellow, then you're fine. But once
You go in on yellow.
I see more people just flat out running red
Well,
lights.
yeah, they're just, I see it every single day now.
I'm like, my
Yeah,
goodness,
they
I've seen it.
don't even blink.
Of course, there is a thing for, a violation for prevailing conditions. If you blow through an intersection on yellow and there was cars or, the conditions, you can work your way around it by saying, but based on conditions. Like I've written people up in North County up there for doing, I wrote a gentleman for doing 55 in a 55. The problem is it was snowing and everybody else was doing 35 miles an hour. He passed me at 55 and I wrote him, Judge Wilson in court upheld me. But he was all kinds of upset. I wrote him for 55 and a 55.
That
I wrote
exists.
him for too fast for prevailing conditions.
All right, that's what people don't understand. Yeah, speed limit, but conditions dictated as well.
Oh, yes, it was a road packed road. There's no way he should have been doing 55 miles an hour. And the judge agreed.
I'm amazed right now at the large number of people, I didn't pay attention to the school zones,
Uh-huh.
like ahead of me and the ones beside me, don't even slow up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that, but
yeah, well, they're just, I guess, they don't see any kids or anything, and they, but, they need to get her and hit her real hard for a few weeks, a lot of tickets, and that, they start remembering.
All right, it's 9:15. Mike, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Mike Bowler with the Riley County Noxious Weed with a monthly staff update. On the noxious weed side, we're beginning spraying for the Cerisa lespedeza in the fall, spraying for musk thistle and field bindweed. Usually those are spot spray operations and not quite the larger operations as they are in the spring. Spraying for brush and cedar trees on county roads. It will be the southern third of the county this year. We divide the county up into thirds and do spraying for that every year. And this year will be the southern third of the county. The second round of the mowing is completed. I'm happy to say we made up some time there. We were, as you may recall, a little behind last month. I'm very impressed that we were able to catch up considering we were shorthanded this month, but our goal is usually to have that completed by September 15th. So we've made that goal and we'll have a schedule. The third round will also begin this month, and that's kind of tricky on where you start that. I hate to start it too early, and then the areas that we started our third mowing kind of grow up a little bit, and they're that way all year. So that's kind of the tricky way of how to plan that, but that will begin here soon. And we do mow out to the fence line, or at least 2 passes on our third round of mowing, and that's for mechanical brush control as well as drifting snow. We mow all the way out for that. So that will begin this month as well. I did bring visual aids today. I've got what is known as tall thistle or roadside thistle. This is a fairly beneficial weed, if you will. It is indigenous to Kansas. It's non-invasive. The problem is that from the road or the roadside, as you're going by it, people see this prominent purple flower and the thorns, and they immediately assume musk thistle. Musk thistle went to bloom and bolted several weeks ago. Not that there might not be some musk thistle alongside the road, but we have had several complaints about this in the ditches, and they come in as musk thistle complaints. I usually, if I get a phone number, I like to follow up with those folks and let them know. I do appreciate that they're out there looking for that, so I certainly encourage those phone calls. But what concerns me is if they've made a complaint about this and they continue to drive by it for weeks later and still see it in the ditches, that the next step may be a phone call to the commissioners and say, hey, look, I'm concerned about this musk thistle in the ditch and nothing's being done about it. So I did just want to bring in a visual aid that this is in bloom right now. It's very beneficial to the butterfly population. It's also a very good pollinator. And so it's beneficial in that way. It's not poisonous in any way to livestock. And so I just wanted to bring a visual aid that it is in bloom right now in case you were to get some calls, or if you personally would drive by and see all the ditches with this blooming in it and kind of want to know what the weed department's doing about it. So
What's the easiest way to distinguish between the two?
well, a couple of big things. A, this doesn't grow near as tall. And you'll also see that it blooms out 3 or 4 blooms per stalk, where musk thistle tends to be 1 or 2 blooms per stalk. And then the musk thistle head is a lot larger.
Mm-hmm.
So much larger that nodding thistle is a nickname for musk thistle because the heads fall over. But the heads of it are at least 3 or 4 times larger than this as well. The leaves are a lot more thorny. This is actually part of the sunflower family, so it's not even part of the same genre of weed, if you will. But if you see them side by side, and of course musk thistle is not, I don't know of any in the county that are blooming right now, or I would have brought in a difference, but if you've seen the head of the musk thistle, it's gigantic. This is almost poppy-like, if you look at it. And a musk thistle, when it blooms, the purple will be way down on the head of the flower. You won't be able to see near as much of the pod as you can on this. And again, musk thistle can get 6, 7 foot tall, where this will only generally be about maybe 3.5, 4 foot tall, and it'll be very bushy. It'll be a lot like an oxeye daisy bush. You know, it has some distinct features difference. But of course, the
purple head and the fact that it is a thistle. Certainly when you're driving by at 70 miles an hour, you're gonna say, well, I think that's musk thistle. But you see the two difference are definitely a lot different. But the important thing about this species of plant is it is a good pollinator. It's very beneficial to butterflies. It's indigenous to Kansas and it's not invasive. So just wanted to kind of bring in a visual aid, just in case you were to get a phone call or question about all this purple thistle that's blooming in the roadside, right?
Well, the reason I was asking because I was mowing and I pretty well got rid of all the musk thistle, I thought. But looking down in the lower area, it used to be a field that's overgrown now, but it seemed like they were taller and I saw a number and they're blooming right now. So instead of just going down the skid loader and wiping them out, I'll look closer then and see.
Right. I can almost guarantee, but I don't want to do that because it is possible, depends on the elevation and where it's at, maybe if it's down the draw or something, that the humidity level may have been different and you may have some musk thistle that's bolting right now, but that would be very rare. I'm not going to say that it can't happen, but a safe bet is that you're probably looking at tall thistle or roadside thistle down there. And if that's the case, then of course you're the property owner, it'd be up to you, but I would recommend, I wouldn't be terribly concerned about it. I wouldn't spend a lot of time destroying it because it is a beneficial plant.
Yeah, I've seen that just recently on my place along my lane, and it generally doesn't grow in big patches like musk thistle, but the big difference is like Mike says, the leaves you can really tell, and musk thistle's leaves are more of a frost color too. They're not as green like that, but the shape of the leaves is a lot different.
Right, yeah, the head of it, if you see them side by side, you know, at the end of the day, that's what I get paid for. If a property owner is concerned about it, give me a call. I'd be more than happy to come out and take a look and take the time to educate the difference. So essentially that's what I'm paid for. If anybody has a question, I'd be very happy to come out and inspect the property and let them know. So any further questions about that?
Nope.
Okay. HHW, we do have another Howie's collection Saturday, September 12th. Again, that's from 8 to noon, no business waste and no large truckloads of waste, please. Our Riley County HHW recycling facility has been very, very busy. People have been coming out, more time on their hands, I guess, and liking to get items for free as everybody's budgets are kind of tight. So we've been very popular out there. And I'd also like to remind everybody that our carts are available during after hours drop off. That has been wildly popular. People have thanked me tremendously for that opportunity. As they get off work and they're traveling maybe back up north, they can just stop in and drop stuff off rather than taking off work early and doing it during our hours of 7:30 to 4. So that is something that I plan on keeping in place beyond COVID. That has just worked out so well for us. And currently people come out even during business hours, they'll pull up to the office window, and if they don't need any assistance, they're able to drop it off. So there's no contact out there. And that has just worked so smooth that that's something we plan on moving forward with as well. Our next HHW clean out will be September 17th. Again, we got a new contractor on that. We could not be more happy. We'll see at the end of the year where we are in savings, but I do believe it's going to be measured in thousands of dollars over what our past contractor was charging us. In that same vein, our Big Lakes annual report was completed and has been sent to the KDHE. That's a yearly report that dictates the amount of material we take in, and of course the breakdown between all the counties as we serve 10 other counties out there. So
June 2021, I'm assuming.
yeah, I think well, no, I got that wrong. It's June to June 30th of 2020 of this year. It was from July of last year.
Okay.
I actually got the 19 wrong, I believe. It's a one full year, and that ended June 30th, 2020. So yeah, that's the typing or
That's all right.
an error there. And then our other, we did hire Connor Reyes, who accepted a position here at the weed department. He's been a county employee for several months and is a transfer from the Raleigh County Works Department. I will say that Connor has an extensive background. He's got an associate degree in farm management and over a decade of experience working on the farm. He has a CDL. He also has his service herbicide application license. So we couldn't be more happy as far as an applicant is concerned. It really matches the opening that we had. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that Leon understands to some degree that he was really, really cut out for the position we had. So we're really happy to have Connor. And he'll be starting 2 weeks from last Monday. So that's what I have for the staff update. Any questions, commissioners?
Nope.
Okay. The second item I have is a action item, and this is reference our noxious weed management plan. It may be useful to remind everybody what a management plan is. It's essentially an outline of the actions we take, when we take them, the chemicals we use, the equipment we use, and who's in charge of ensuring that noxious weeds are treated in Riley County. Statute requires that when it is necessary, I come before the county commissioners and update that report. I can tell you the report has been modified at essentially administrative level. There's a few items within the management report that's been updated as far as like ground sterilant chemical that we use has changed. We added a tractor this year when we replaced one with a brand new one. We still have the other old one in place. So that's been added. We also added our slant shed out there, or barn that we built this year. That's been added as part of our facility that we use to control noxious weeds. And then my bio, as me as the director, has been updated. So just some administrative changes done to the management plan. All in all, everything is very similar as it has been in years past. So we just elected to bring it before you to update those administrative changes, but nothing major has been changed on the management plan.
One move to approve.
I'll second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote that sign, please.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Have a good little extended weekend.
Yes, sir. And I'll find somebody that might want to.
You take the flower to your wife.
Yes, yes. I might put that on her desk over there.
You'll get all kinds of brownie points for that.
Sure I will. That's actually kind of the plan.
You're not in trouble or anything, are you?
Yeah, now I'll just say that I was following Rich's suggestion.
I always get to blame somehow.
Yeah. Ooh. I want to try to get up. I've been doing some lifting again, and parts of my body are hurting. I haven't been hurting for a while.
How's Greg done?
Not too bad, how are you?
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Nice and cold inside. Yeah.
Well, for the moment, I'll warm up a little bit later, but
Yeah, but this weekend's gonna be warm.
yeah. We'll get to the middle of next week, though, and
I wish this weekend was gonna
I'll be
be
feeling a
cooler.
little better.
Looking forward to working on the sidelines with the MHS game tomorrow.
Yeah,
A little bit of normalcy.
yeah, yeah. Football season's usually that. I think there's a slate of some college football games on Saturday, so I'll got some new furniture delivered, so I'll break it in.
That's a good way to break it.
Yeah. I'm just in the nick of time. It is 9:30, Greg, so
All right.
tell us what you know.
Well, good morning.
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 What was it? We'll start off by saying a big thank you to the commission. We received the results of our 2020 substantial compliance, and that's the scoring system the Property Valuation Division, or PVD, uses annually for each county appraiser's office. And once again, we're up in the top threshold of counties. And that's really due to the support that you provide us. You know, we kind of are in that unique situation where we work for two bosses. We work for you all, and we work for PVD in essence. And but it's nice to know that we're supported, and the team that I have in the office does a great job. But we couldn't do it without training and the support that you provide. So thank you, and just know that we're in good shape again for another year as far as PVD is concerned. We talked a little bit last month about the income and expense surveys. We mailed those actually August 3rd, and we've begun getting those back. We have not gotten a good return rate this year, which is a little surprising given what's going on in the rental markets and some of the commercial property markets that are leased properties. And so I would just ask, if you have any contact with any of those folks, let them know how important that is that they return that. We really want to get a good picture of how this year is different from a year ago. That's the purpose of those surveys every year. So we'll be reaching out to some of those folks that are property managers and others. But just so you know, that's been a little bit of a concern, and we're going to try some ways of contacting folks and letting them know we really want to know what's going on with their properties and how that's different, possibly because of COVID-19. As we talked to, I think again last month, we will be doing an online survey in December to get another kind of a brief glimpse kind of some of the same information from folks if they're willing to participate also. Because I know this is a kind of a changing situation. Seems day to day, month to month, and we would like to know now and then again at the end of the year, so we can measure any changes that may have occurred from September to December before we set those values for 2021. Steve Shirley, Alan Todd, Melanie Berry, Penny Council, Darren Hobbs, and myself participated in the IAAO annual conference this week, and it was a virtual conference this year. First time to do something like that. It was really interesting that a conference that usually has between 12 and 1,500 people in person had 1,200 virtual, which was great. You know, I talk about this conference every year in a good way because of the value that it adds to us. The sessions there are just better and provide a broader scope of information to us than what we were able to get locally or regionally. But we had some great sessions talking about the differences in retail property trends, pre-COVID and post-COVID. Very interesting discussion about that. We looked at a lot of different valuation techniques that we'll be and other folks are going to be using to account for those differences on properties like retail. We had some residential and rural property valuation sessions. Geospatial analysis, that's a $5 phrase there, but basically that means we're taking GIS applications and using them to assist us in our analysis. We've been doing that here. We came back from this particular conference with some ideas that I think would be very practical and help our efficiency a little bit. We talked about drone technology. This is the third year in a row that that's been a topic, and some appraisal analytics, appraisal technologies, and a whole lot more. One of the neat things about the virtual conference is not only could we attend the sessions in person, but post-conference up until December 31st, we can go back and review those again, or any of the sessions that we missed. A lot of times when you go to this conference, you have to make a hard choice between two sessions that look really good, they're at the same time. And so I encourage my staff to maybe carve out, an hour once a week, even through the end of the year if they can, to look at some of those sessions that they may have missed. And anything that brings value to Riley County, we're going to get together as a team and talk about it. So we've already done a little bit of that, but we'll continue doing it. And again, that was the value of this virtual conference. Our pre-conversion work for the Orion MVP program is finally complete, and the final installation of the program was completed last week. So we'll continue to test the new components this fall as we need, but we're at the point now where we're just trying to, as we come across things, see how that changes values, what difference that could make in our evaluation process. We've not come up with any big problems or issues, and I don't anticipate that we will, but it is nice to finally knock that process out, that program out, and move on. And it's for Riley County, we're probably 20 to 25 days ahead of schedule. I was a little worried at one point this summer that we would be behind schedule. We actually got it done a little earlier. So that's great. It lets us get back out in the field more, and we're needing to. We'll talk about that a little later when I go over our sales numbers. We're completing our residential land studies. They're virtually done, as well as our commercial land studies. But we don't anticipate any big changes there, and that's because we haven't seen any big changes in the sale prices of residential or commercial land this year. And our neighborhood analysis is done actually, and of course all these things are for the 2021 property values. Our goal is to make sure those 3 phases are completely wrapped up by mid-September, and I think we'll easily hit that mark, possibly the end of next week. In addition to the field work, classes and workshops are remaining, our appraisers are remaining busy with some of those. And the big reason for that is the 4-year cycle for our licenses, our RMAs or our IAA designations, wraps up June 30th of next summer. And next spring, when we're setting values and holding appeals, is not a good time to take classes and workshops. So we're trying desperately to knock out any remaining hours that we needed, either tested or non-tested, here probably by Thanksgiving. That's our goal. I think we'll hit that goal. It's been a little complicated because of so many postponements or cancellations of in-person classes and workshops, but we should be in good shape there. And of course, the IAAO conference helps in a big way. That's a huge value of attending that. You can basically get every year's non-tested credit hour requirement knocked out in that 2 or 3 day conference. We talked about hosting appraisal classes here last month. We actually had another one, actually 2 in August, and we're hosting another one September 14th through 18th. That benefits us in a big way because we're not traveling and spending meal costs and vehicle mileage, driving to Topeka or overnight lodging somewhere else. So that's been a big help for us. It also brings in people from across the state, in a few cases out of state, into our community, and they get to stay overnight, spend their dollars here, and I'm sure our local retailers and merchants appreciate that. This class is about 15, I think it's 16 now, from mostly from in Kansas. I think there are a couple of out of state. In addition, we'll be hosting 2 classes and a workshop in October, and that will wrap up Riley County's hosting of classes for this year. We're hoping to be on the docket for at least 2 or 3 courses next year as well. Just kind of anecdotally, the Kansas County Appraisers Association secretary, who does an organization for the scheduling of these, told me again in a phone call a couple of days ago that the Manhattan courses are the highest rated and most well-attended courses this year, and that's kind of been the story for several years now. So I think that's kind of neat that we're being able to bring people in and say that. The appraiser one position that you all approved to rehire has been advertised, and we're actually interviewing candidates. I'm hoping that maybe by the end of next week, we might have a good candidate to make a conditional offer to. Unlike the last couple of position openings that we've had, we got several applications right off the bat. And there are several, I think, in the pool that look like they would be good interviews. So we'll hope to wrap that up quickly. The commercial two position's been filled. Jessica Cruz started here in late July, and she's doing a great job. I think that's a hire that could benefit Riley County for several years down the road. And Melanie Berry in our office is her immediate supervisor and is doing a great job training her. We've had actually 891 real estate sales in 2020 through August 31st, with 781 of those being home sales. That compares to 799 sales at the same point last year. And I looked back a few years prior to that even, because that number kind of jumped out at me when Alan provided them to me this week. In 2018, we had 833. 2017, we had 853. 2016 is the last time that we approached the 900 mark. So in the midst of a pandemic, we've had more sales of real estate in Riley County than we have since 2016. And the interesting thing too is we talked about that median sale price. This month it's 183,500. Average is 206,965. Those numbers have been very similar here for several months now, and we've talked several times about the moderate home price range being the busy market, the hottest part of our market. That obviously continues to be the case. Our median residential sales ratio is currently 99%, which means that those values that we set January 1st, the median is about 1%. Our value is about 1% lower than the sale price. We've got 268 building permits through the 31st of August, and that compares to 255 at the same point last year. I was a little surprised by that. But I think I mentioned a couple months ago, those building permits countywide, of course, it's not just Manhattan. There are a lot of building permits there that are remodels, that are additions, home improvements, and improvement to a commercial property. Not as many big new homes or larger commercial property kind of thing, new construction projects, but still a whole lot of construction going on. And I would anticipate we'll probably see that trend continue through the end of the year. We do have several Board of Tax Appeals or BOCC cases docketed for trial. And we're finally going to get to hear two of those, or 2 years, one property. Home Depot is scheduled for October. And Steve and I met earlier this morning to send off our evidence exchange as we're required to by BOTA with our attorney. And we're ready to go. We're hoping there won't be any more delays. I'm pretty positive that we'll actually go forward with these, because BOTA does have a director now, and he can sit in as a board member until they get 2 new board members appointed. That'll be a big case, and that's really one of the first statewide for a big box retail property with the new makeup of the board. So it'll be interesting to see if decisions change or how they change. But we're keeping a close eye on the rest of them. I would guess we'll have some payment under protest filings this year that we haven't had in the past. Maybe investment properties, commercial properties, we'll see. But the one thing I would share with you that we try to make sure that our taxpayers understand too, the appeals process is not a bad thing as far as we're concerned. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to sit down and exchange information. And especially with commercial properties, it's important for us to get as good a picture as we can of what's going on, what's different from a year ago, how your expenses have changed, how your vacancies have changed, your rents, concessions, all those kinds of things are extremely important when valuing commercial properties. And so as we possibly see a few more commercial property appeals here when the tax bills go out, that's the way we're looking at it. We want to be able to know what's going on and get a better picture and be as accurate as we possibly can and nothing more. So with that, I'll wrap up unless you have some questions.
A lot of 20 cases there.
Yeah, and you can see by the list, they're all in that, mostly all in that big box
Yeah.
Category, which has been the theme. Kansas is kind of one of those hotbeds for big box cases. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Texas are also in that range. But until or unless Board of Tax Appeals climate changes, I think we'll continue to see that type of thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, Monty.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
This must be Amanda.
This is Amanda.
Whoa, nice to meet you finally.
Yeah.
How are things going?
Good.
Okay, good.
Busy.
Say what?
Busy.
Busy, yeah. Good.
I've been feeding her with a fire hose.
Okay, well, glad to have you on board.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
But you think I'm really. I just did it.
No, don't worry about it.
No, I didn't want to bring it back.
I live in, of course, I was in Oregon, and we're still working through that change. Some folks have been there forever, moving out, and then a couple of family buys, and then first thing they do is do all of that.
So here's what it just shows up on
But
the screen here.
really, when you think about it, they're just getting,
And then there's a
Bring
spreadsheet.
it up to where it is, where it should be.
yeah, today's standards.
We don't really do it well from all that.
Which makes it kind
All
of
right,
big.
well, I've got something to do, part of one contract. All original was.
So that's all for the toilet, everything.
No, 89 out of 5, not 199.
They are live, this is live stream.
Just don't know where that way, 10 years from there,
Probably for this time.
it's all wore out.
So you wanna be careful.
I don't care.
For so many years, talking about, the truth of how much love and college group is kind of, really fall apart. Kind of the same, kind of compare what it should be, or model a little bit more, wanted to.
Little cabinets, you know, I just can't, they just can't block it. It's really like people think you would get, I'm just, I'll solve it one word.
That's cool. That's very cool.
It is,
Friday is gonna go up.
no, it's limited that. Yeah, I've been paying 2018, 2019 values. No, I'm doing it very much in that, but it's hard to-
Okay, that makes sense.
Thank you.
He slipped up about his house a while back too, so,
Really?
yeah. But his story always changes. If he's trying to sell it or refinance it or something, then he's got a different story.
I got the biggest kick out of old Frank Tillman when he was still alive. We eat coffee and he come in. Oh, it's just really felt like that all the time. House is starting to get lower. And destroying Frank back. You know, it's just what was huge. And oh, it just wasn't held like that. Then when he got out of college, he started developing and stuff. He needed line of credit, he needed money. And I remember he went down. I was used there then, he went down, looked at it, his value wasn't on that. He needed a more time value to borrow money.
He's got a few of those every year. That's amazing. Yeah, they're always either refinancing or selling, they're not the same.
Oh, yeah.
Or the interesting ones, the one that was a brother and sister, right?
mom's house. And they're talking over
Oh, yep, I'm glad you seen it all.
I was just gonna let you know that these signs are still there.
Really?
Yeah. Gary said they were leaving them up until they got those driveways made. And then they left them. Yeah, there's a 20-mile-an-hour coming from either way.
Okay, he said it was.
Okay. That could have been.
Huh.
Because they were, I'm sure they're gone.
My choice. I said, you're lucky, I'm even hitting this one. Oh, he's good, God, he's just full of it.
Don't talk about while I'm standing here, Lee, jeez.
That's better to do it while you're here.
No surprise. No. Routine.
How's Mary doing out here? Right, same way? Huh? Yeah, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does.
Just need more coffee. Right, no doubt you get so much more done without interruptions.
Well, I guess we could probably officially stick a fork in the Royals for this year.
Yeah, probably so. I heard an amazing statistic this morning that they've won 3 out of the last 35 or just 4 of the series win.
Yeah.
I'm not very good
No,
statistic.
No.
You got to win series to.
especially your home series.
Yeah.
Although maybe this year that's not maybe quite as applicable with cardboard cutouts in the stands.
You usually go to a Royals game every year?
I usually go to one or two. Yeah. You should try to do it sometime
Try to do that too.
early in the spring, May-ish, before it gets too hot, and then usually in the fall. Usually after the first, where you get to see the call-ups, you know, when they get to expand the roster.
Have you ever been to Chiefs game?
A long, long time ago.
Yeah, I think I've been to one or two.
Yeah. Tickets there,
Yeah, that's a lot harder to come back
it was
there.
like $200 for general admission.
I had somebody invite me, so that's
Yeah.
how I was able to.
Of course, they just got their Super Bowl rings
Oh, yeah.
a couple of nights ago.
Uh-huh.
Pretty cool looking. I guess Patrick Mahomes then proposed to his longtime girlfriend.
Yep.
The same event. So I guess she got 2 rings technically.
Morning, Ron.
Morning.
This is Amanda. Taking over for
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Better day in paradise.
How you liking Riley County so far?
So far, so good. Yeah,
Good.
lots of different things going on and learn about and be involved in, so.
Good. So, Rich, what
Sir.
are these mail ballot drop-off boxes gonna look like?
Good question. And the bigger issue is administration of it.
Yeah.
Because it's not the nirvana that everyone thinks it is. As far as security and
You know, it's gonna be my second
how much
question,
more
so,
staff do I get to go pick up stuff daily that staff can't keep up right now?
yeah.
How do you give them in rural county and secure them and retrieve ballots daily?
Who's allowed to retrieve ballots daily?
Gotta have two, a Republican and a Democrat. Yep. It's not the simple solution everyone thinks.
It's kind of my thought.
Like most things. Not as easy as it sounds on the surface. Had a statewide meeting on that yesterday. And the Secretary of State's office doesn't have it figured out.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that.
I brought up all those
Did it have to be a certain type of box?
exact questions. Well, it's gotta be secured, yeah, so it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, they're gonna want to I mean, it seemed like to me with that, you'd want to contract with a company that does that specifically and, you know,
Oh, yeah,
so
that-
they're all
that-
uniform, they all look the same and people would be generally more comfortable with seeing it and going, oh, that's a mail ballot box, you know.
Yeah, they just keep asking us to do more and more all the time with the same amount of resources we've had for the last 3 decades. Staff-wise, anyway.
Yeah, it's getting about that time there, Bonnie.
Let's come out and get ready.
Yeah. I guess this will be, well, I don't know, I'll give another staff update. This will probably be your last staff
That's my
update.
last staff update, that's, yeah, that's for sure. That doesn't mean I won't be in front of you for something else.
Right. All right.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Director of Planning and Development. You have our project sheet there, and I want to hit some highlights. First one is the rewrite of the regulations, the land development regulations. We had a work session where the Urban Area Planning Board was the only body that hadn't really looked at it. That went well. They had a few questions, but pretty supportive of it. What we're doing now is we're working with a consultant to start getting illustrations throughout the thing. Once we get that all figured out and appendix items, then I think we're ready to schedule it for public hearing. So my successor Amanda Smeller is here, and she's going to have to pick that up and wrap that up. So, any questions on that?
No?
I can't really see the screen here. I'm going to move it over. The next item I want to talk about is the Keith Sewer District. We have a draft preliminary engineering report, so we are nearing being able to put the application together with USDA. The good news is with a Midwest Assistance Program out of Wichita, which is a free technical advisory service, is going to put the application together for us. We actually met with an individual. He used to work for USDA, and he's doing that nonprofit work. So that's great. The only thing we will need to do is, I don't know if you remember when we did Fairmont, there are resolutions and everything that the commission has to approve within the software system online, because it's all done online. And you authorized me to go ahead and sign, because it has to be somebody that's goes through all of the procedures to get authorization to get in there even, you know. So if you wouldn't mind having a motion to approve Amanda being able to do that, we're going to get her into that system, and then she can take care of that for you after, you know, Clancy's going to review them all again. But once she gets approval from Clancy, then she can go ahead and sign off on it. That's the only part that Midwest System Program can't do, you know, because it has to be something to represent the county to sign off on it. Would you mind making that motion?
I would move to approve Amanda.
I can second that motion. Further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Amanda will also be, I mean, I'm the liaison to the Downtown Manhattan Inc., and assuming it is okay to just have her fill that position as well.
Yeah, actually Gina asked me about that as a matter of fact, so yeah.
I've been trying to get in contact with Gina to take care of that.
Okay.
What else? Joint land use study, that notice of potential noise impact, we left it on here, but just to show you that it's been completed, I think you got an email on that. So that was quite a project. Warren Muir with Rich's office helped a lot on that. Did a lot of work to basically clean up the subdivision lot and block list that registered deeds needed in order to index it to properties. So when they're sold, you know, that notice will come up. So we're in good shape there. And going forward, all of the communities, Ogden, Riley, and Manhattan, as well as the county, will put a note on any future plats that this notice potential noise impact is registered at, so it says book and page. So that will pick up any new plats that occur within that area. Private road naming, just an update on that. We had the Anderson Lane public hearing. We're going to be meeting as a committee to discuss what we want to do with that and also move forward with future projects. And it's been difficult trying to schedule a meeting. I think it's going to have to be on my last day, probably. But we want to come up with some new recommendations for you.
On that note, Monty,
Yeah.
I was just poking around on GIS, looking at this stuff going on South Scenic Drive, across from Hughes's place. There's a road goes in, gravel road goes in to houses. And I noticed they all had scenic drive addresses.
Yes.
Is there something coming someday to name that road? And
We've actually tried to work with those folks several different times. We haven't come to any consensus yet on that. So that's on the list.
okay, 'cause I was gonna say that's about as important as the rest of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not scenic drive, none of them front on scenic
Yeah,
drive.
that's a good example, Ron, of a variety of issues we have like that around the county. So
Yeah.
I think what we want to do is really make sure that it is a problem for emergency responders to find people. And maybe even, look at incident reports and have more documentation on the problems before we start tackling these. So it provides a better foundation. That's going to be one of my recommendations, that let's get more background on foundational materials and actually what the problems have been out there.
Because if
Show that
emergency-
this is a problem we need to fix.
if emergency services, if somebody had new staff or new members, just like, I was trying to find an address on Amherst that didn't exist, but
Yeah.
if you're going down scenic looking for a house number on scenic drive, you're not gonna find one.
Yeah.
So how would you know which road would you take in to go find it? So that's why, first thing that came to my mind is, we've been doing this to other areas, and this is really not glaring, but it's right at the forefront, because it's right there in front of you all the time. And I just thought that it'd be fair to everyone that needs to be looked at also.
Google Maps, that's always right.
Yeah.
That was sarcasm.
And what Ron's talking about is exactly my concern with, looking at incidents that have been a problem. So we won't change it until there has been a problem. So why not try and avoid the problem? And so I understand what you're saying, Monty, we'll see if emergency services, but after you've already had that problem, because we're a transient community, not all of our EMS people are familiar with our community, moving in and out. And so I understand what you're saying, but if I'm that individual that had that problem and it's too late for me and you change the policy later, it did me no good.
That's what we'll be talking about, making some recommendations to you tonight. Okay, what else? The CDBG, CB, actually, that's coming up next, so I'll probably just wait to talk to you about that. That's really the major items that I have. You can see all the other issues with permits and violations and all that. So unless you have any questions, I'll just skip to.
No, it's pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah.
So talking about the CDB, GCB, I attached my proposed allocation plan and application procedure there.
Mhm.
You can see my reasoning, and we want to try to keep it as simple as possible for businesses, because I have businesses calling, wanting to, they're trying to take advantage of every opportunity that's out there, and we know that there are businesses that will qualify for this. So, I like to get it out the door so I can get as much of that done before I retire as possible. So if you are okay with this, what we're proposing is 5,000 per job retained and 13,200 maximum per business. With the money we've been allocated, that would allow us to help at least 10 businesses. So that's kind of our goal with the revised amount we received. And I'm proposing that Darren and I, and probably Amanda, would review these to make sure that they have everything they need and meet the eligibility criteria and all that. And keep it simple like that. Darren is the Economic Development Director, Darren Solden, Economic Development Director with the Chamber. I've been talking with him about how to structure this. That's what we're proposing, and if that works for you, I'd appreciate a motion to that effect, and we're going to get this out the door as soon as possible.
No, look good to me, considering the amount that we actually were allocated, so I'd make a motion to approve.
I was a little disappointed with the
Yeah, me
amount. I
too.
thought it was gonna be a little closer to maybe 200,000, but, it is what it is, but, nothing.
They tried to spread it around as much as they
Yeah,
could, I guess.
Nothing on your part of the planning department's fault on that, so. I'll go ahead and second your motion. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's all I have this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Once again, Amanda, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Mhm. Are we having one or two executive sessions? Is one.
One.
Okay.
There are two listed on there, aren't there?
Yeah,
I think because the way I read it, it was to show that coming out of the first,
I didn't know if we were having two separate
Sure.
ones.
only one that I'm aware of.
Yeah, one's enough. How long are you gonna want that for, Clancy?
Kind of, be driven by, I would say 20 minutes.
Okay.
It'll lead up to that last agenda item, that'll work. So I think what I'm gonna do is a kitchen table and a couple chairs I have, I'm just gonna renovate.
Do what?
I'm just gonna bring up to date, throw some spray paint on it. It's kind of a metal, composite wood. Just find something really durable to throw on top,
Mhm.
just straight, something glossy. Just call it good.
Much more economical. Kitchen tables are not cheap.
I bought some other included a new pantry and a microwave stand thing that are all same brand, same style. I think I'm done furniture stuff. After waiting for 3 months for a
It
couch.
reminded me, I was wanting to show Ron my little project.
John, couch took 3 months to, was it ordered that?
I ordered it on Memorial Day weekend and got it
Coffee stand, one rack I
yesterday.
made for my daughter.
We had one.
That
We ordered
walnut
it
you
the
gave
first
me
time
on
we
top?
just
Uh-huh.
ordered a couch. and it
Yeah.
took, almost 5 months.
Oh, gosh.
It was
So
so
that
frustrating.
walnut you gave
We
me.
had, we had cushions that were sliced.
You,
So when they were packaged or unpackaged or something, somebody cut it with a
No.
box cutter, but they ordered 2 of them, thankfully, so
But,
I was able to
yeah.
exchange cushions out.
No, I did.
Worked out
It
pretty well.
wasn't as bad as I thought.
It wasn't a real big deal until I got to this time of the year around football seasons that I was really wanting it for.
Coffee stand,
Oh,
wine rack
yeah.
I made for my
That's- see,
daughter in
that's
her small apartment.
That's exactly kind of what I want to do, something like white and then something on top.
Mhm.
I don't know,
Piece
a
of
real
walnut
durable
that Ron gave me.
paint, spray paint for tabletop. I don't really care about the wood grain, I'm just gonna make it solid and
Just, I would, even though it's in a can, I would probably get the porcelain knives or the epoxy type.
Okay.
It's a big enough quantity to take care of, it's not that expensive.
they have that in a spray.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Rust-Oleum makes it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do I don't know. I have to look at colors, but something in maybe a light chocolate or a dark bronze, maybe.
Yeah, it comes with bronze tone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Just something flat.
just, it's just the main thing is the number of applications and the time in between.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't follow, they try to cover it in one shot, of course, you know that.
Yeah.
so.
Time, gentlemen.
Okay. Did you have anything before Clancy or just this?
And just the
Okay. I move that the county commissioners, including Commissioner Ford and Commissioner Wells, along with Clancy Holman, Riley County Counselor, Rich Vargo, Riley County Clerk, and Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Manager, recess into executive session pursuant to the non-elected personnel matters exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act to discuss applicant interviews for the position of Emergency Management Director, discuss compensation, and possibly make a conditional offer of employment, and protect the privacy of the applicants. The open meeting to resume in the County Commission chamber at 10:35 a.m.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
I move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's see. I move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with consensus reached in executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we need any final discussions on this? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
That's all I had.
Okay. Thanks.
Now it's time for Leon Hobson show for quite a while. How you doing?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
What I have before you today are some rate adjustments requests. Of course, the Board of County Commissioners sit as the governing body of all these benefit districts. And the rates for a lot of the districts are periodically reviewed. Some of them tend to get pushed out a little further than others. And so with me leaving at the end of the year, I wanted to make a conscious effort, try to get the rates up to where they should be before I left. So the new individual would not have to do that. So the first one that I have before you, well, then the question always becomes, do you raise them a little bit every year, or do you wait and raise them more, at one time? And so we talked to the different people within the districts, and they all have their own varying opinions of that. So I don't know that I have any given answer to how we've been doing these. So obviously, some of these are fairly lengthy since they've been reviewed. So the first one I have is Terra Heights Sewer District. And the main components to that district are an individual mechanical lift station, the lagoons, and collection lines. And so this district relies very heavily on the mechanical components of it, and we're constantly having repairing or replacing pumps. So there's a very large operational segment to this. We currently have a reserve fund of around $78,000, which is close to being adequate for that. We've been, with the lagoons, and if we ever have to remove sludge out of the lagoons and stuff like that, there could be more expenses than we would like to have. But for the most part, it's pretty close to where we need to be. And overall, we think the state of the system is good. We do have some individual pumps that are going out, and we're replacing those. We're in a process of putting in a higher quality pump than what we've been using in the past, and so we expect to get a little longer life out of those. So having said all that, I guess the only other thing I wanted to say before we get into the other is, most of these districts are small districts. They don't have very many people in them, so if you're going to try to generate any kind of money, it usually takes a fairly large increase to generate much money. So having said that, the rates in Terra Heights were last adjusted in 2008. We do have two proposed changes with this. First, we noticed that there was no administrative fee that was in the resolution for this district. And so we're proposing a new rate of $5 per month. And since the sewer fee was subsidizing that administrative fee, we thought we can reduce that sewer fee from 35 to 32, making a net change or a net increase to the patron of $2. So questions or comments on the Terra Heights Sewer District resolution?
Based on recommendations, I move to approve the rate resolution for the Terra Heights Sewer Benefit District as presented.
I'll second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next one is Moment Bottoms, and the main components of this district are just the water meters and the water line. Upon our review of the district, we did find that the minimum charge, the water rates, and the administrative fee all needed to be increased. The minimum charge is basically there to, oh, I'm sorry.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. The minimum fee is there to take care of the fixed cost of the district. Unfortunately, the fixed costs for this district are beginning to exceed the revenues. Of course, the city of Manhattan has been raising their water rates the last few years, and administrative costs have increased. This district only has 22 landowners in it, so the price, is going to raise any money has to be higher. So the three proposed changes I have are for the minimum charge to increase from $16 to $20. The water usage fee to increase from $4.25 to $4.86 per 100 cubic feet. And the administrative fee to increase from $4 to $6. This increase totals approximately $10.50 per month, depending on the amount of water that's used. Now, this one's a little unique, as this district was in the lawsuit, the settlement with Riley County, the 1990 landfill groundwater contamination lawsuit. So of these 22 homeowners, 12 of them are considered to be plaintiffs, and they're only paying roughly $2.50 a month for water, regardless of how much water they use. And another additional 8 homeowners are required to pay 20% of their monthly bill. And so there's really only 2 homeowners that pay that entire bill, of course, making them the most affected. The solid waste division picks up the remainder of the bill, the other 80%, and then the rest of the bill for the plaintiffs. Questions or comments?
Then for me, what a deal out there, I'll tell you.
Pardon?
Quite a deal, everything that transpired out there in Melman Bottoms. I move to approve the rate resolution for the Melman Bottoms Water Benefit District as presented.
How much of an increase per month that is?
It'd be about $10.50. I mean, one thing you could do if you want to, you could do it in over couple of years. I don't want to say several years because we're already kind of getting behind the 8 ball. So, and again, you look at 22 people, if you raise it, you raise $22. If you raise $1, 22 times 12, whatever that is, it's not very much money when you're talking about operation expenses. So that's one of the reasons why it's so high.
When was the last time a rate increased out there?
In 2011. The bigger ones that we've been doing those more on an annual or every other year type basis, and these kind of just got lost in the shuffle, I guess. But you could wait, and you could do part of it this year and part of it next year, and do another one. I mean, I know that's what the city's done with some of their rates.
We could do this one and skip next year.
True.
Yeah. True. Skip it, yeah.
I mean, the end result is probably, we all know the end result, where we need to be. And this doesn't put us to where we're making a lot of money to put in the reserve account or anything. It's just making sure we're in the black and we're not taken out of the reserve funds. And so it's whatever the commissioner or the governing body wants to do.
I'll go ahead and second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye. I'm not gonna want to revisit it for a while, though.
Your what?
I said I'm not gonna want to revisit this one probably for a year or two at least.
Neither's
Well, I won't be
Leon.
bringing it back.
Neither's Leon. Leon will bring it to you next year, he
I will bring it
promises.
to you.
Your predecessor won't be either.
Well, it comes back to that, you know, do you do them every year, or do you look at them, do you do them every few years? I mean, like with solid waste or haulers, they like to see a larger increase and then have it last for several years. Okay, the next one where I have before you is Deep Creek Sewer District. Again, we've fallen a little behind on the capital, let's see, on providing an adequate capital reserve fund, although we do have 31,000 in there. It is there is the main components are the lift station, the lagoons, and the collection lines. So the lift station being a mechanical component, it's nearing the end of its useful life, and there's going to be some repairs or replacement to it. And we're probably looking at somewhere $40,000 to $50,000 for that. So we really need to continue to build that reserve fund. We've been building it, but it's just not building at a very fast rate. So that's one of the adjustments that we're looking at. The last adjustment on this one, however, was clear back in 2001. So this one's really never been addressed since I've been here. So we're looking at two proposed changes. First is to increase the capital reserve fund at a little higher rate. We're looking to raise it from $8.04 to $12. And there are 21 landowners in this district. The second adjustment would be to adequately fund the administrative cost, and that would raise that rate from $2.84 to $6 per month, which the administrative cost is pretty much in line with the $6 is what we've been charging with the others. So having said all that, the capital reserve is going to go up $3.96 and then $3.16 for the administrative cost, for a total increase of $7.12 per month.
It's been a long time since 2001, and I move to approve the resolution for the Deep Creek Sewer Benefit District as presented.
I'll second. All those in favor?
All right.
Okay, and the last rate adjustment that I have for you is Hunter's Island. We did last year dip into the reserves a little bit. We've been going along pretty good and just kind of staying status quo with this one. But last year we ended up dipping into the reserves, so we wanted to get this one before the commission to look at a rate adjustment. And again, so the minimum charge, we need to increase it. It's not meeting our fixed cost anymore. The water rate has gone up. And then, of course, the administrative fee has as well. We do have a capital reserve fund of $14,178. A little lower than what we might like to see, but it really is the only components to the district are the meters and the water lines. So we don't have a lot of large expenses. Most of the water districts, we've been looking at moving forward and looking at radio read meters. That, of course, will be left up to my predecessor if they want to follow along with that, but that would be the only real big expense. So there are 47 landowners in this district. We are proposing 3 changes. The first one is to adjust the fixed costs. So the monthly charge would increase from $11 to $16.75. Manhattan's water usage fee was increased from $3.75 to $4.04 per 100 cubic feet. And the administrative fee went from $4 to $5. So based on 750 cubic feet of water, the increase is approximately $9.25 per month.
Yeah, we don't want the fixed cost, everything less than what the income's coming in. I would move to approve the rate resolution for the $100 Island Water Benefit District presented.
I'll second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, the next item that I have before you is the 2 public works positions that are open. We have 2 operator 2 positions that have opened up due to employees leaving. Both of these are with the asphalt crew within the operations divisions of public works. The operators are required to perform a multiple of duties, including the driving a truck, operating skid loaders, pretty much all the heavy equipment that we have, doing things primarily on the, dealing with asphalt roads. I feel these positions are essential for a variety of reasons. The number of employees that was established for each crew was determined by some of the jobs that they do, such as patching, small overlays, chip seals, fog sealing, culvert replacement, flagging operations. It just takes a certain amount of people to make all those operations work. And so all of those operations, there's a certain level of manpower that's required. So removing 2 employees from the asphalt crew reduces the productivity. And, we could just shift and bring some employees from other crews over, but all we've done is shift the shortage then to their crew. And so the downside would equate to a much lower level of service. We would just have to do less. In addition to that, probably as important is the snow removal activities. They're based on the activities that we need to do during any snowstorm, and we need a certain amount of manpower to make that happen. And with the current staffing, we're in good shape. If we, there's many times that we go into a snowstorm, there may be somebody on vacation, there may be somebody sick, they may not be available for whatever reasons. But there's many times we go into a snowstorm wondering if we have enough employees available to perform the job. So losing 2 employees would definitely have a detrimental effect on our ability to do the snow activities that we need to do. Both of these positions are in the budget for 2020 and 2021 at a grade 1, step 2, and depending on somebody's experience, we would be hiring them back in that same grade, but somewhere step 1 to 4. And like I said, depending 3 and 4, they're going to have a lot of experience running the equipment and that sort of thing, and their knowledge of the asphalt. So The last few have been hired in at the steps 1 or 2. So I am recommending that the commission approve us to rehire both of these positions and allow us to post and get them refilled as soon as possible.
But besides all the important work in the summer and the road patching, potholes, strip seal, everything, so in the winter, they would be involved in clearing roads and et cetera, sidewalks around all of our county buildings, the
Yeah, the
health
asphalt crew,
department, water hall, all the snow and ice removal stuff.
yeah, everybody, I mean, that, the
That's
whole,
what I mean, they're just
yeah,
part of it.
these individuals would not necessarily be down at the plaza, but that's part of the whole crew that we have for snow removal, so yes. And during the winter time, there's other activities that they do. They do a lot of shouldering the roads. I mean, as long as, depending on the weather, there's things that they do out there on the roads, even in the winter time.
Snow, ice, rain.
Rain, fog, yeah.
Now, I've always thought it's counterproductive to always, if you need to save $1, shorten the person who actually does the physical work, so, with that said, I'd move to approve the rehire of 2 public works operator 2 positions.
You're not offsetting those on the agenda here. It says 103 and one September 30th. You just got the numbers off.
Say again.
I'm just showing one for September 3rd and one for September 30th. That was probably just a typo.
I'm guessing so.
Okay. I'll go ahead and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
All right?
Both sign, please.
Thank you. Uh-huh.
And then the last item I have before you is we have some, one unpaid sewer bill up in Terra Heights. And we cannot, anyway, we can't shut sewer off. So the bills just keep on coming and we've sent them to collections. We're trying to collect through that. Well, I take that back. We are not. They're a landowner, so what we've done to make sure we get our full, get the full amount that we've incurred, we just asked the commissioners to put the bill on the tax roll. We could go to collections, but then we have to pay a percentage to the collection agency, so we feel like this is our best avenue if the commissioners agree. So we're here today to have you certify this amount and to put it on the tax roll. Questions, comments?
No, I move to approve.
I'll second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
All right?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Roll.
Leon, thanks for checking and showing me the
Thank you.
20-mile-an-hour
Yeah.
signs are still keep, so I appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Well, do we have anything else?
I do not have anything else, gentlemen.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Remember not to show up Monday.
Yeah, I'd have gone out